Hi everyone, I hope you're well. This is CoinsKid. Just going to dive into Bitcoin once again. Thank you for support. Okay, big up the CoinsKid crew. So right now, Bitcoin is doing exactly everything it needs to do for the continuation of the trend. If anything, what I think's happened here. You came up here in this wave one, okay, and what happened? You just went sideways. Look, for the whole year, you sort of just went sideways. You got caught in a range like this. You went sideways, and obviously with the unforeseeable Corona dump, we wicked all the way down to the 55 EMA because of the Corona dump in March 2020. But you can see you came up, you went sideways, you broke out. Okay, now one thing that you're doing here as well is you've come up and you've essentially doing the same what you did in this cycle, okay, in 2019, where you broke out, hit a peak, went sideways, broke out. Okay, so just here we're doing exactly the same thing. We've come up, we've come down to support like we did here. We're starting to come back up. We put in a new high, but we are still caught in a range basically for Bitcoin. In the entirety of 2021, you can look at it like that. 2020 into 2021 was amazing. We peaked out and then we sort of consolidated in a range right now. So are we going to come down to these lows here? Potentially we could do. I'm not writing it off, but essentially what we're doing here is holding key support. We've retraced up here. Look, we've come up here, made this peak, came down to a key level support, almost a 20 EMA on the monthly time frame right there, and then rallied, created another high, okay, failed to get above and hold, and at that point we're coming back for support, basically retracing. So we're retracing to this low at the moment. Do you see that? Because you've put an impulsive break and you're coming down to this low. Now at the moment everyone's flipping really bearish and saying we're in a bear market, but for me, you're doing exactly what you did here, sideways, come up, sideways. So for me, I'm more biased to the fact that we're going to hold a key level support and start to come up. Now you can see here, like, look at this red line, okay, this is a 55 EMA on the monthly time frame. In a bear market, always comes down to it, holds it as support. Came up, consolidated, Corona dump, unforeseeable black swan. Where did it find support? On the 55. Let's take a deeper look into the previous cycles, okay? You can see here, look at that. So the bear market rolled, bounced off to 55, consolidated and broke out to the upside. Where's your bull market? So for me, this is an amazing level of support. You see this 55 EMA currently sits, and this is the thing about the exponential moving averages. Even if Bitcoin does roll here, this red line will continually move up. So your floor is rising, which is what I've always stipulated. Your key level of support is always rising. So people that are telling you we're going to come down to 17k, or I've seen some people saying 10k, I would love a 10k Bitcoin, to be honest with you, because I would load up, right? But I think it's hopium. I think we're all dreaming if we think we're going to get them prices again, because I think that Bitcoin is slowly coming up the stairs, rolling back to key levels of support in this bull market, and eventually, I'm looking at it getting to this white line, okay? And people, when it gets there, people are thinking, you're scratching your head in disbelief, but this is the journey that Bitcoin is on. You're looking at something like this. It's slowly evolving, isn't it, and turning into this big object that people are interested in. So that's basically my outlook on Bitcoin. I still think that you look technically bullish. Okay, you've entered a level of consolidation here, you caught between a range, you come down, you lose the lows. This is a key low down here, 28k, that we put in the summer. We start to lose that. You can see you're losing structure. At the minute, there's no structure been lost here for Bitcoin. This is why I still think you're on a continuation trend. Now, if you look at this particular scenario here for Bitcoin, okay, we came up like this, we came down, and we created this breakout just there, okay? So for me, the breakout was here. This was your low, basically, but then we had the capitulation event for Bitcoin. So with that, look at the immediately V-shaped recovery, came up to the resistance and then broke out to the upside and put in that whopping wave 3, which is what, a lot of you came into this bull run at this point, but I've been here since way back there, okay, buying all these corrections and the depths of Bitcoin, because I look at Bitcoin as a long-term investment, basically. So I do try to find the lows for you, but there is a saying, those who pick bottoms get smelly fingers, so for me right now, looking at this, for me on the monthly time frame, Bitcoin is retracing to the golden ratio just there, holding it like a boss. Look at that, beautiful. You got the wick down on there at 40,000 to 427. Now obviously if you start to close below that, then you're going to come down to the 786 at 34956. But for me to tell you that that's going to happen at this point will be hopium. So all I'm doing is just telling you you're holding support for the continuation of the trend that you're in, because you've come up impulsively, correctively, and if anything, you're looking at another impulsive break to the upside to retest these highs. And with that, you can see that what you're forming here, okay, over, since you broke out in 2021 in January, I think it was, when you put that peak in, when you broke out in 2021 just here, this level of resistance, and then you came up and you put that peak in in April, and then you came back down, you held the lows, and right now you put a new high, but you can see you're caught between a level of resistance and a level of support. So for me, if anything, what Bitcoin's doing right here is creating some kind of horizontal accumulation continuation pattern. Now these coil up like this, okay, coil up, and then they get the breakout. We've seen many of these, you know. Essentially this is one. You've come up and you've done this and this horizontal, and you broke out to the upside. Bit of a descending triangle, but then you did break out, okay, continuation pattern, and then obviously got the capitulation event there, the V-shaped recovery, and you've got the hell out of there. But for Bitcoin, just here, level of resistance, level of support, okay. You had that wick down because of the corona, unforeseeable black swan event. So people calling for this sort of big capitulation event all the way down to 10k, or retest these 20k, they're sort of calling for a big sort of an anomaly, a kind of capitulation corona 2.0, or some big world event that drives the markets into despair. But at the minute, you know, if you do zoom out, you look, the 20 is holding like a boss. Look at the 20 EMA. So technically on the monthly time frame, Bitcoin is coiling up for something here, isn't it? You know, this is basically an ascending triangle, which is a continuation pattern. If you hold support and start to bounce up, do something like that over the next few months, you know, for the rest of the year here for Bitcoin, you know, a lot of people think that we're going to roll into this 85% drawdown bear market, but for me, I think that them kind of days are done for Bitcoin. Personally, from what I'm seeing anyway, you know, on-chain analysis, it looks as though we're gearing up on-chain for another run, you know, pretty much like we were down here. These levels of accumulation that were going off for Bitcoin, where the whales were stacking the Bitcoin, all the levels were being reset, you know, we was holding support, technical support, and then we did eventually break out. So for me, Bitcoin is doing something it's done here, right here, okay. So this is why I'm still long-term bullish, and I don't envision us coming all the way down to retest these highs, you know, that we've put in previous bull runs. We've never retested the previous all-time high. Obviously it can happen, but for me, that would be hopium whilst retaining structure. So this is why I'm still bullish on Bitcoin, and I do potentially think that we're going to hold support, you know, and we're looking at that sort of spring over the next week or so, when everyone's getting really, really bearish, and I think we'll get the spring off this key level support right now, and we start to come back up and attack these highs. And like I said to you, we've got targets up there. We've got fib targets of 61k retrace, and then, you know, beyond that we've got 107k target as well long term, and then obviously the white line all the way up there at 260k, which is a long-term target, you know, the road to 260k. So until we lose structural support, this is still my target, okay. And people are in disbelief and think I'm chatting shit and hopium and things like that, but no, you know, these drawbacks offer fantastic opportunities. Look at each time we have a drawback for Bitcoin, you know, opportunity. It doesn't feel like it, and this is the thing that I try to emphasize in the channel, is that these opportunities never feel like opportunities. It didn't feel like an opportunity in the summer, but it was, okay. And right now, if we hold this key support and we start to come up and attack this resistance, this opportunity will not equally feel like opportunity. It never does. It always feels like fear and depression and not an opportunity. But this is why we have the beauty of the on-chain analysis, because we can see that the smart money, or the big money, so to speak, is accumulating and buying off the weak and selling into the fear, you know. So for me, structurally, Bitcoin is sound for continuation. It is until it isn't. So that's basically a quick little update for you on Bitcoin today. I've given you a level of support where to put some cheeky bids in yesterday's video, but so far so good. We're holding that Wyckoff accumulation, and we're looking at, we're holding the 40k as we did the 30k here. We're currently holding this 40k here. So for me, I think that you're looking at a lovely little spring and a breakout eventually for Bitcoin over the next few months, okay. Take care everyone, back to another update on Bitcoin. Stay healthy, stay strong, stay tuned. Bye bye.